Hey there, it's Lenny Magill with the GlockStore Performance and Custom Shop right here in San Diego, California. Today, I've got another amazing product for your Glock. Every once in a while, I just still love this business because I find something that's like, wow, what a great idea. And this is one of them. I was at the SHOT Show 2019 in January, and a guy came up to us and said, hey, I think, this is a pretty cool item. Can you sell this for me? Can you help me, get it together? And I said, well, let me see it. And he presented what is called the Goliath. It's a plus 20 magazine extension that I have already pre-installed here on a 33 round magazine. Actually, it's a 31 round magazine, and we'll talk about that in just a second, but it's plus 20. So right now, as it sits here, this is 51 rounds, and it's pretty awesome. And it works. I've used it in PCC competition. It works in your handguns. It's just amazing. It's really cool. So that said, let me show you. It's available in different colors too. It's black on black, obviously, and we're going to talk about that. The black on red, or red on black, I guess it would be. More red than there is black. And there's a silver, or kind of a shiny on black. And then there's also a blue on black. Now, if you notice on the back side, there are 6 Allen screws. And we're going to go ahead and proceed to go through the disassembly and reassembly process. We're going to take this apart and put it onto one of the magazines. So there's some of the color schemes that's available. The idea is that you're going to use an existing Glock factory 33 round magazine. Now, I said it was 31 rounds because, in fact, the tube is 31 rounds. The plus 2 extension, which comes from the factory, makes it 33 rounds. So you could potentially take that off, just put a standard flat extension on it, it'd be 31 rounds. With the Glock Factory Plus 2, it's 33. Hence, it's known as the Big Stick 33 round magazine. We sell a ton of these. We do have these in stock just the way they are. But now, for all of you who are shooting PCC competition, or for those of you who want to load up and not have to reload often again, this new extension, this new plus 20 called the Goliath, I love to say that name because it is pretty awesome. So again, we talked about the screws on the back. They come out with a standard Allen screwdriver, which is this one right here. Okay, so I've got an Allen attached to this. This is actually one of our kits. It's pretty cool. A little kit we sell has, this comes in it, boom, boom, all that stuff. It's pretty actually awesome. It's really inexpensive, but it's got just about every Allen or Phillips or flathead that you can imagine and or need in your gunsmithing world. It's all in one little package. So that's one little thing here. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about this magazine. We already told you about the base plate. The way to go ahead and make this work is we're going to remove the plus 2 base plate. To do so, I'm going to use my punch. Now, we do make an MDT, which is the magazine disassembly tool, but it's really not going to work because of the placement of that hole all the way back there. So I'm going to use a punch, just a stout punch. This comes in our punch set that we sell. It's a thick one. It fits in the hole perfectly. Okay, it takes a little bit of muscle, but not a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to push the insert plate on the inside in to kind of remove that pressure because it's pressing down. So there's like an insert cup in this particular extension. And it's interesting, as soon as you push that up there, you'll notice that the magazine base plate wants to move forward. Now, there are those little tabs on there that kind of capture it, so I've got to defeat that by muscling it off. So I'm going to push down, and I'm going to push down with this guy, and at the same time, and there it comes. I just defeated the tab. So I let it stop halfway, so like so. Didn't take a whole lot of muscle on this one. I think I've had it off before, that's why. But the first time is typically, it is a little tighter. And I'm going to walk it off very slowly, making sure that I keep my thumb on top of the opening of this magazine body so that spring doesn't go flying across the room, because it will. And the little insert plate in there, or insert cup that's in there, is going to go flying too, and it's going to be hard to find them. Plus, if you're down here like this and doing it, it could hit you in the face, so be very careful of that. You may want to wear safety glasses, maybe a safety helmet. But the idea is to keep it pointed in a safe direction and get your thumb over top so you can capture it as it comes off. And that's what I just did right there. So I captured it, and it's not a lot of spring pressure, but again, if you just let it go, it's going to go flying. So slowly let it out. And that's the cup I was talking about. It's kind of a cup that cups the spring. See how that fits? And notice the orientation as well. Okay. So the open side goes towards the back, and the closed side captures the spring. And this guy's going to capture it in the sense that it really holds onto it. So that's the orientation it goes into, like so. Okay. Now we're going to remove the factory spring. All right, I'll put the insert plate. And we're not going to use this +2, so I'll just put that off the side. The follower we're going to use. Now the follower is typically caught or captured onto the spring with just a little bit of spring pressure. So I'm going to just tilt this off, and you can hear it kind of click off. Comes off pretty quickly, but the one thing I want you to know is when it goes back on, there's a little snap, which means it stays on and comes off pretty easy. This spring we'll save for a later date, okay, because I may want to go back without the extension. So we'd always want to keep that and keep the other pieces, maybe put them in a plastic bag. Followers are going to still be used. The spring cup's going to be used. Now in the package, the Goliath, comes a new extended spring. So let me go and pull that out here real quickly. And there it is, and you'll notice it is significantly longer than the factory spring. Almost double. How about that? Not quite double, but almost. This is the spring, and now we're going to go ahead and approach the actual extension itself. Like I said, I've already gone ahead and taken all the screws out of the back, so move these guys out of the way. My blue one, I've already taken all the screws out. I also took the base plate out, but I'm going to put it back on just so you can understand how it came off. Base plate's going to go on like so. There's a spring-loaded detent right here. I'm going to push that down with a punch and push it back in like so. So it'll come to you like so. You remove your screws, which I've already done, and here they are, because you don't need to see me wrenching on those. But now to remove this little base plate on the bottom, we're going to go ahead and push this down with a punch and just push it forward, and there it comes. So base plate comes off. And then it's assembled, but basically I want to go ahead and just pull this off like so. So there's your pieces. There's the back plate, there's the actual body, and then there's the base plate. New spring and the screws themselves. So now here is my magazine body. 31 rounds plus 20 will make it pretty formidable. The top of the spring is different than the bottom. Okay? This being the top. And hopefully you can see the difference. Let's see if I can get some. See how that is shaped versus how this one is shaped. Okay? So this one has that little hook right there. So that's going to be what's going to play with your follower. And keeping in mind the angle, it goes up. So the follower is going to feed up, and this is how it's going to sit there in the mag body. So now I'll just snap it in place. Or not. No, I will. There you go. Oops. It snapped, but it didn't collect. There we go. So it's on. And that's how that sits. So now we'll go ahead and feed our magazine. Oops, I'll do that last. Let me do that last. Yeah, that's right. What I want to do is I want to get this mag body onto the magazine body itself. So this is the aluminum mag body. It's going to go onto here. So we're going to go ahead and feed it like so. Oops. It goes like this. Okay. And now what we want to do is just squeeze it a little bit just to make it work, and it clicks into place. Okay. So I just squeezed the plastic a little bit as I got to the tabs. And it's basically on there now. So it's kind of captured on those tabs. But obviously you need to make it secure. So we'll take our back plate now, and you'll notice the piece on the very bottom. That's our little spring-loaded D10. It's already pre-installed. We're going to go ahead and capture this guy, this back plate onto here, and then screw it on. Okay. And it wants to go, but just a little persuasion with my little mallet will make it work. That's why you like that nylon head there, so you can tap on stuff without really damaging it. So there it is, it's seated. So now I'll take you through this screw process. Now, when you do these screws, you always want to remember that, you know, it's kind of like a lug nut on your car. We're going to not over tighten one corner. We're not going to want to get it to tweak down. We want to make sure that we get this thing to sit down flat. So as you start your screwing process, or you're going to get it down there just to be about flush and not tight. Okay, we're not going to tighten any of these up yet. We're going to get them into play and into position, and then we'll go back and start to tighten one at a time, being careful not to over tighten one corner, because that could tweak it a little bit. And I don't know that this is this critical on this particular application, but it's always a good habit that when you're working with firearms and screws and this kind of thing, that you be aware of the fact that you have to make sure it's balanced out. Okay, here we go. One more. I know this is kind of boring. Sorry about that. And last one. Here we go. Okay, I'll put this one down, finger tight, and come back over here on the opposite corner and go finger tight. And then the opposite corner again. And again. And get in my middle now. And I'm pretty sure now that this is in place. So the fun part will be feeding this spring in here. Again, thinking about the orientation of the follower and how it's going to go. It's going to go up, the rounds go up, so it goes forward. The front of the magazine body is here, up, going forward. I'm going to feed this guy in. And there it is. So I've got that much spring to compress. Remembering that I do want to use my spring cup. So remember how the spring cup goes in. It's actually let's see here. Is that right? I think it's going this way, right? Okay, here we go. Now, one good way to do this is just kind of grab them and stack them and grab them and stack them. And there it is. It's all the way in. So, now you have to figure out keeping a finger there. Put my base plate on. Push it all the way back. Grab my little punch. I'll get a bigger punch here, it'll be a little easier. And put it in. There you go. 51 rounds in a magazine body. Pretty easy assembly, right? Looks like it's a pretty simple thing to do, and it's not that expensive. And we've tested it, and it works good. There's a couple stipulations about the length of the ammo. You'll find those on the back of the package. They're very concerned about the overall length, but typically, everything you're buying from the factory is going to work. If you're a reloader, be aware of the overall length, because what happens as you add those 20 rounds, they start to go into this mag body here, and the length of the overall ammo, you got to be a little very, very, very careful that it's not too long. But again, most of the stuff you're buying from the retail stores is going to work fine. I think it's a great item. you know, it's one of those things, like I said, it's a wow. Now, the hardest part is what color you want. So the bottom line is we've got them now. They're in stock, and it's something that I think is going to be a big seller, especially for those of you who are competing in the PCC competition. I'm Lenny Magill. This, of course, is the GlockStore Performance and Custom Shop. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.